We are sold a highly sanitized version of self-discovery. The culture paints it as a peaceful, spa-like retreat where you light a candle and effortlessly find your true purpose. Reality shatters that expectation. That sterile narrative exists by design. A society functions smoothly when its individuals are predictable and heavily invested in the status quo. Selling self-actualization as a quiet weekend getaway keeps the disruptive mechanics of actual growth hidden from view. Pop psychology frames personal evolution as an act of acquisition, buying new habits or learning new skills. Genuine growth requires the opposite. It is a systematic subtraction of every false layer and people-pleasing habit you have built up over a lifetime. Because we are primed to expect peace, the friction of letting go feels like a catastrophic mistake. The moment the pain hits, we assume we are failing. Panic sets in, and most people immediately retreat back into the comfortable numbness of being average. Choosing your own path carries immediate, real-world consequences. The instant you stop conforming, you will let people down. You will alienate the friends and family who relied on the previous, highly predictable version of you. Personal transition follows a difficult trajectory. Your previous identity ends long before the new one is ready to form. You are forced to navigate a vast, empty chasm in the middle, a space known as the vacuum. When a mind enters that gap, it panics. Without the familiar guardrails of who you used to be, imposter syndrome floods the negative space. Your brain argues that you are making a massive, irreversible error. This structural collapse feels like a punishment, yet stripping away the external scaffolding is a mandatory step in becoming yourself. Life guarantees suffering. The only true agency you possess is deciding exactly which type of pain you are willing to endure. The first option is the slow burning ache of conformity. You memorize the script society hands you, and you keep the peace. You secure the approval of the crowd, but you pay for it with a chronic regret that sits in the back of your mind every day. Steve Jobs anchored his worldview on this trap. He recognized that your time is limited, making it illogical to waste those hours living the results of other people's thinking. This graph charts the trade-off over 40 years. You can accept a sharp spike of early friction, or you can defer it, triggering a curve of regret that compounds until it dwarfs the initial cost of breaking free. We routinely choose the devastating long-term cost. The human nervous system evolved to survive in tribes, meaning our brains view social friction as a physical threat. We will quietly ruin our own lives just to avoid a moment of awkward nonconformity. The second option requires walking directly into the fire. This is the acute agony of a psychological death, where you actively dismantle the false persona you spent decades building. We construct a persona early in life to meet the demands of the world. Carl Jung noted that to reach the authentic self hiding underneath, you have to tear that mask off, piece by piece. The social toll of this removal is heavy. To break the cycle, you have to revoke the access of others, withdrawing your availability to the version of you they prefer. When you stop playing your assigned role, the system pushes back. Friends and family will look at your uncharacteristic behavior and assume you have lost your mind. Surviving the transition comes down to your capacity to stand alone and tolerate being misunderstood by the people you love. To cross the vacuum without turning back, you must rely on a strategic form of self-belief that functions in the absence of evidence. You have to train your brain to value the friction. By treating the isolation as proof that the process is working, you lock in the mental reinforcement required to push through the empty space. To reduce the wake of this period, the philosopher Alan Watts advocated for acting as if nothing matters. By viewing the social stakes as a temporary game, the fear of rejection loses its grip on your nervous system. This self-belief provides a temporary environment for growth. It allows the new identity to solidify in private, shielded from the immediate pressure to revert to your old patterns. As you repeatedly choose actions that align with your own values, the effort required to maintain the new identity decreases. You move from the stage of consciously building a self to simply living as one. This leads to the fundamental shift in perspective Jung promised. When you sever your reliance on external validation, the judgments and expectations of the crowd lose their mass. They simply pass through you. We spend thousands of hours mapping out every disaster scenario, but we almost never force our brains to sit with the opposite equation. What if it actually works out? The math is in your hands.
Accept the acute pain of becoming yourself today, or you will pay the price of not choosing yourself tomorrow.